Hey besties, welcome or welcome back. I headed over to Dollar Tree and found these super cute pinwheel summer type decor things for your yard, but I'm going to do some hacks with them. Pizza pan from the Dollar Tree and a really cute bee-themed placemat I got on the Dayton Air Force Base. And I'm going to go ahead and cut around where that green circle is around and cut off the gray part, only because it won't fit on the pizza pan. And once I get that on there, I'm using these pinwheels I found at the Dollar Tree that look like little bee wings. Now, they're brighter yellow, and I need to kind of pull this all together. So I'm using a folk art yellow paint, and I'm going to do the centers of the flowers, the beehive, and then I'm going to go over each of those little wings and kind of dull that yellow down so that it all ties together and matches better. And I'm happy with that once I do that. The only thing is the black is so black. So I'm just going to brush, like dry brush over the wings, and that kind of blurs it a little bit, and I think that's perfect. Now I'm going to match up two wings so that it looks like each one's a bee, and I'm going to hot glue them together, and then I'm going to hot glue them underneath the little placemat. I'm going to take this really pretty buffalo check ribbon that I got on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to start making pleats. So you see I've pleated the entire thing, just folding it like a little accordion. Now every two pleats I'm going to glue the top of them together. Then I'll skip one, and then I'll glue two together, and then I'll skip one, and then I'll glue two together, and I'll do this all the way around the entire circle. Once I get that done, I'm going to start gluing down about every 3 or so pleats. I will glue it down to a combination of the edge of the pizza pan and the placemat, and I will do that all the way around as well. Now after I've done that, I will go back and I will add some more hot glue and just kind of secure it in different places all the way around. And I didn't want to cut off the ribbon until I was sure I had enough, because if I cut it, I'd have to add extra pieces, and I didn't want to do that. So that just worked out perfectly to just leave it attached to the strand of ribbon. Now I'm going to turn it over and put my little hanger on the way I always do. Use some kind of a rope, hot glue, and a little piece of masking tape. It's very secure. Now I'm going to make a messy bow. So I'm going to take 7-inch strips of bow, and I'm using all different kinds of bows, and I'm going to use, or ribbons I should say. I'm going to use 3 pieces each, and then before I put it together, I'm going to dovetail all of the ends so that that will already be done and I won't have to deal with that. Now I'm going to stack them randomly, sideways, crisscross, across, and then I'm going to take a piece of jute cord, take it underneath, and tie it in the back as tight as I can. Then I'm going to fluff out my bow, and I'm going to stick that jute cord right through my ribbon that goes around the wreath, and I'm going to tie it on real tight, and then I'm going to hot glue it as well just to make sure it stays in place. This is so cute, you guys. I'm loving this, but I need something for the center of my bow, and I had these little pom-poms from a little Dollar Tree sign that I had taken off. They were pink and yellow, which went with this perfectly, so I just glued them together, and then I hot glued them to the center. And this one's done. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. It's amazing what you can do with a Dollar Tree pizza pan. One ring from the 3D wreath form from Dollar Tree, and these little like ladybug wing looking pinwheels from the Dollar Tree. I'm using my tin snips to pull off the little wings, and I have that in my Amazon store. All my supplies that I use regularly will always be down in my Amazon store. And now I'm just putting them on a piece of cardboard to figure out how big I should make each of the little bodies. So I'm using this little container I have, and I'm tracing out circles. I'm going to make 8 of them. And then I have this really nice cardstock scrapbook paper, and I'm going to cut the circles out. I'm going to use my premium decoupage solution, and I'm going to attach them to the scrapbook paper. And then I'm going to cut them all out. Once I have them all cut out, I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to rub over the top of them to make sure that they are very well adhered to the cardboard. And then I'm going to take this poly rope that you can get in the automotive section at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut pieces that wrap all the way around each of these circles, and I'm going to hot glue them on. And I'm only going to show you one, but I'm going to do it to all 8 of them. Now I'm going to take 2 wings at a time, and I'm going to hot glue them together. I want them to look like they're in flight. So I'm going to lay each set of 2 over each other so I can try to get them pretty much the same exact size. And once I have done that, I'm going to take those little circles, and I'm also going to do the same thing and hot glue them to the back side or the underside of the little wings, so you just see that little part of the black body coming through, and then I'll lay it on top of the next one so I can try to get them again about the same size each, and I'll do that to all 8 of them. Once all of those are done, I'm going to put that little piece on top of some more cardboard and draw out kind of freehand like a head. And once I get the shape I want, I'm going to cut that out with a utility knife, and then I will use it to trace and make 7 more so that I have 8 of those. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that same scrapbook paper, adhere it using the premium decoupage, and then I'll use the poly rope in black and put that all the way around with hot glue. And then I will hot glue those to each of the little ladybugs, and now they will not only have wings, but they will have a head and a body. This whole thing started when I saw those pinwheels. I immediately knew what I was going to do with them, and it's coming to life here, and it's really fun when you come up with an idea and then you can make it work. I'm using my little snips to take those wires that are holding the wings out, and I'm kind of bending them in because I don't want them in the way. I want to be able to put the heads on and not have the wires sticking out. So I just did that with all of them, and then I hot glued the heads on like I mentioned and got those wires out of the way. I was going to snip them off, but I was kind of concerned that the shape wouldn't hold. Now, I didn't have any black chenille stems, so I used yellow ones and a black permanent marker, and I just colored them, and that's how I made their little antennae. And then I just curled the tops and cut them out, and I'm going to hot glue those to the underside of the head so they're sticking straight out, which you will see here in a moment. And they are so cute. The only thing is I really needed to wait for them to dry because I got black permanent marker all over my fingers. That was not fun. I have this black and red it's almost like buffalo check mesh that I got at the Dollar Tree a long time ago, and I only had this one little roll, and so I really had to make it work. So I created a little loop, and I had cut up some red chenille stems, and I wrapped them around the ends of the loop and then attached them to the ring. And then I pulled another couple, maybe 2.5 inches, made another loop, wrapped the little chenille stem around that and attached it to the ring. And I literally do this all the way around the entire thing. And then I stretched it as far as I could to make sure that it would fit. Unfortunately, the little ladybugs cover any of the gaps, so that worked out really well. But I thought just to fill in, I wasn't sure what would show in between, so I wanted to make sure that there was some red and black in there, and this just was the perfect solution for that. Now I'm going to lay the ladybugs on there. Basically their head will be facing out and their body will be facing in, and I'm going to hot glue them, and now that mesh gives me something to hot glue to as well. So I'm going to do that with all 8 of them, and then I'm going to turn them over and secure them even more on the back side with a little more hot glue. Then I have this red steering wheel cover that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I thought I can cover the back of that ring with this so that it will make the back look a little nicer, and it gives me one more surface to hot glue everything to. So I took out some of the thread and I got rid of some of the gathering on just one side of it. Then I hot glued each little piece to it, turned it over, added a little more hot glue, put a red chenille stem as a hanger, and then it's ready for me to add a little sign to the front of it. I'm going to take a little square plank that came in a 6-pack from Dollar Tree. I'm going to find the center, and then I'm going to use a utility knife and just cut it in half, and it cuts pretty easily. I just turn it over and score both sides and the edges, and then it breaks right in half, and then I just kind of clean up the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and use this to make one thin, longer little sign. I didn't have a piece of scrap wood that was just right for this. I'm going to use a little bit of my Titebond adhesive, which is really good, and it works great with wood and all kinds of surfaces. And then a little hot glue for the immediate hole. I'm going to use a nail file from the Dollar Tree to sand all the edges. I'm going to get some scrapbook paper for my first layer. This is going to be like paper crafting. So there's my first piece. And then I have a friend who has a channel who does some amazing paper crafting things. Her name is Linda at FaithChick777 DIY by Design. And she takes her little scissors and she scrapes all the edges of her paper and gives it texture. And I wanted to try this so bad. So that's what I'm doing. And I will link her channel down below. And now I'm going to take that paper that I've scraped all the edges, and I'm going to put it on top of that piece of wood that I assembled. Then I'm going to cut out another piece of scrapbook paper using that same piece of wood as a template, but then I will take my paper cutter and make it a little bit smaller because this will become the second layer. So I'm going to do that, scrape the edges on that. I'm not going to show you, but I'm doing it. And then I'm using my brayer and attach it. I'm going to take a third layer of scrapbook paper, cut that one even smaller. So again, each layer you can see the one below it. And then I'm going to take some paper that's like red that doesn't have a pattern on it, and I couldn't get one whole piece that was long enough, so I put two together, and I did the same thing, scraped the edges, I glued that on there, and now I'm going to take some black paint from Waverly, which is called ink, and I'm going to do all the edges. I could have used a marker, and I didn't think of that till after the fact, but you could do that too. Then I am going to use a marker. That's when I thought of it. And I'm going to figure out where the center of the word welcome is and start there. And then I'm going to write my letters. Try to do a little bit of kind of like a ready done font, but by hand. And then I'm going to make a little swirly design on each side, kind of how a ladybug might be flying. And I found a little teeny ladybug when I was cleaning out under my stove. I don't even know where it came from, but I cleaned it up and I am hot gluing it right on there. And it was perfect. It was like this was meant to be. I'm going to hot glue that sign right to the center of the ladybug wreath. And I just think this came out so cute. I hope you guys like it. Definitely let me know. Cool little cork holder that I found at the Goodwill. Gosh, it was last spring, I think. I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 paint and primer in the semi-gloss, and I did about 3 or 4 coats, just light ones to build up. And then I've got these little LED wire lights from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use those and these gorgeous flowers from the Dollar Tree that I've had for quite a while. And I'm going to use my snips, which are in my Amazon store linked below, to go ahead and cut all the little flower stems off because I want to put them inside this cork holder. I'm going to turn it into a really pretty floral arrangement with lights, almost to look like a bird cage kind of, but not a bird cage. Does that make sense? This DIY is almost too easy. After I painted it, I'm literally just arranging the flowers inside. I'm not gluing them down so I can change them out seasonally if I want. And then I'm gonna put the light inside and literally, I mean, that's it. It's already got a hanger on the back to hang it up. And just imagine I could change out those florals or put birds in there, whatever it is. Fake birds, not real birds, obviously. And just hang it up. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. And honestly, if you can ever find one of these, you could even use like one of the wreath forms from Dollar Tree, the ones like the football shape or the basket shape hanging planter. You could turn a lot of things into this. I know it's hard to find the exact items at thrift stores, but just use your imagination and take inspiration from this. And that's kind of what I did when I found it. I didn't know I was going to be able to find something like this, but I'm loving how it turns out. And I've already got it up in my house. I'm super excited. I've always wanted something like this. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know if it's something you would maybe want to try, if you could find something that would work. And the last thing I'm going to do is just pull some of the flower petals through the cage and pull some of the leaves through so it looks like it's kind of overgrown. And I just love it. I didn't want them just stuffed and squished inside there. So to me, this really makes it look cute, like when they start to stick out a little bit. And that's it. Literally, this one is done. Thank you so much for watching. You'll have to let me know which one was your favorite today. I want you to know that you are truly a blessing to me. If you enjoyed this video and you want to hang out with me a little bit more, I've got another video on the screen that I think you'll really like. So go ahead and click on it. And if you do, I'll see you there. Bye.